Hitting it now. I hit the go live button like it owed me money. And hence we are live. Wow. Thanks, YouTube. We got a super chat right out of the gate from Isle of Film with €2. Says can't be live today as work. Catch up later. Hashtag red alarm.
Well, our live is work, so we had to be here. But also happy to be here. But also had to be here. We don't want to let you guys down by not being here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a busy day too. I've been setting up the TOS captain's chair and stuff at the convention center, and it's just been. My feet are sore already. Tomorrow is like a 12-hour day there, so.
Yeah, it's very different being an exhibitor. It's very different being an exhibitor. If you're a person going, you do your own thing. But if you're an exhibitor, yes, you sort of have a home base you can kind of sit down in, but also you kind of be there before it starts, thereafter it leaves. If anything social after, it's a whole different experience. And you always think, oh, I'll see the rest of the convention floor, and many times out of 10 you don't, because somehow you manage to burn 8 to 9 hours where you are, and you want to explore. Like
we got people for that. I got a few people, lackeys, that I can leave at the table.
Ah, yes. It's like at this last convention here, I was trying to go to a book area for a thing when Marie's book groups was there, and it was like an area we hadn't been to, and we would use like the most furthest corner from where any of our stuff was, and while we weren't there as exhibitors, we had to sort of zone a list of things to do, which never even got over to that section. Even though I had the entire day, we explored half of it, but we just never ended up going. So it was quite like, I'm sorry, babe, I'm sorry. We, despite having 8 hours, we also 6 hours didn't manage to go to the one zone. Dear me.
Yep. Conventions are hectic sometimes.
Well, yeah, and they go real quick.
Yeah. SVS Guru 2000 throws in €5.
Good to see you.
We got Mariner and Tendian underwear. And Tiana's kinky mating rituals. Best episode yet.
That said, no deltas. I joked to Stuart off air that there should have been, if there'd been deltas on the nips or deltas on the bottom or deltas on the front, it would have been even more obnoxious. So they went the safe route.
The underwear.
Yes. Yeah. Because Jesus Christ, they're on everything, every scanner, every phaser.
Did you notice the dead Doppler in the Vine room? There's a skeleton in the
only after pointed out to me, which I thought was a phenomenal reference.
I pointed out last night on my first reaction live, and I was like, "What?"
That made me real happy, even though it was the death of a guy. Although it's like, but they
were duplicates.
Yeah.
They just missed one.
But where was the person that made that guy? Because they duplicate.
I don't know.
And it was implied they can't just walk off because they always kept duplicating. But yeah, I love that. It's a great Easter egg. It's like the great koala Ur of the Universe in the title sequence, or the pre-title logo is there, which is a wonderful touch. And before they tell the animators, like, right, so we're just gonna do a new version of Holodeck, yeah? Yeah. Could you add a koala? What?
Why? We're paying attention to the show.
Can you add a ghost nebula koala in the first 5 seconds? So you want it to be more custom. Just that one. Koala.
I haven't seen the koala. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, in the title, in the initial zipping through the Star Trek universe, there's a koala in the clouds.
I've never seen it. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's meant to be. When you see it, you see it. Some men new one and also put a koala in it. I love it.
That's great.
Well, yeah, exactly. He controls the universe, so of course it should be there. He's watching over the Star Trek universe title sequence.
Awesome.
All right, I'm
gonna run out of steam real quick. I can tell.
It's been a long day.
It's okay. You go share. I'll talk to these people.
Yes. Same thing.
37 of you here, which is awesome, guys. Hit that like button. We have 23 likes right now. I want to get up to 50 likes as quickly as we can. So hit that like button. If you're watching after the fact, also please hit the like button. If you're watching this tomorrow or whenever you watch it, hit the like button. Remember, there's a super thanks there. If you watch it after the fact, you can use super thanks to support the channel, which we really appreciate. But all you guys that are live right now, you can super chat. And we do read every super chat on the air. So you get yourself acknowledged. You get your comment or question read on the air, and we talk about it. So it's a good way to support the channel and be part of the community and be part of the discussion, and we really appreciate that. Makes it much more fun to actually have people that are interested and invested in being here and want to support the channel. So if you can, please do. You can also support us by sending a PayPal. If you can't do super chat, you can send a PayPal to trekyards@hotmail.com. Just let us know in the regular chat that you've sent that, and we will take a look at the email from them and read the comment or question that way. You can also join the channel. Joining the channel is a small fee every month. It's kind of like a subscription service, but it really helps our algorithm, really helps us on YouTube. So we would really appreciate that also if you're able to. And also, please consider at least clicking the join button and looking at the options instead of just noping out of it right away and not even wanting to hit the join button. I used to be afraid to hit the join button because I assumed it would just join me automatically. It doesn't. It shows you all the options, and then you can decide to not do it. But we'd really appreciate it if you've looked at those. Also, don't forget that you can... oh, and Matt just gifted 5 Trekyards memberships, so also hit the join button and make sure that it's set up to receive gifts so you can get your membership. Although all 5 memberships just showed up, I'll read them off as soon as Samuel gets back to welcome you guys. But also in the description down below, there is a link for Teespring and TeePublic. We have some really great Trekyards shirts, Trekyards mugs, Trekyards merch, which we would like you guys to check out and perhaps get, because there's some really great stuff there. We'd like to see you wearing our stuff. So Matt Boardman gifted 5 memberships, and they all came through right away.
Oh,
so
my God.
Welcome Dean Faw, Eric Sween, Brandon Corell, Dave Moon, and Chris Gwillem. Welcome everybody to the channel.
Definitely recognize those names. Welcome. Yes.
Well, have a drink. And by all means, now that you're a member, it's a free membership for a month. And then you can use the emojis and the stickers and stuff in the live chat. And yeah, hit it. There's a lot. Sean O'Neill used on there with the hit the like button comment that he did. So check him out, guys. All right.
So Stuart, what do you think of Season 4, Episode 4? And do you think any different now you've had retrospective time to rewatch it, etc., etc., etc.?
Watched it a few more times, and no, it still feels very shallow to me. Don't know why. A lot of people are saying this is the best of the season. I don't understand where they're coming from, but there's some good moments, absolutely. But overall, it just feels like 2 B stories and nothing. There's no hook. There's no grab. There's nothing that keeps me interested, and it just falls a little flat for me. But that being said, it's middle of the road as far as scoring goes, I think, and an all right episode of Lower Decks is still better than some of the better episodes of live action New Trek. So I still really enjoyed it. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I just want to make that point clear. But as far as season 1 and 2 goes, this season's just kind of been falling a little under the radar for me. Hopefully it kind of picks up near the end and gets some more interesting episodes. So how about you, now that you've seen it a few more times?
Well, just twice, because I've got other things to do.
He's got a life.
Well, you... That's just... No. Well, yes, but no. Just, No, Oh. Don't go over there. Okay. No, I actually liked it more second time round. It's a fun, gentle romp. It's almost actually now this is the first time I've re-talked about it. It very much is the epitome. The first time I've actually felt this is the equivalent of the TNG Lower Decks episode in how deliberately Lower Decks it feels. Normally there's something larger to kind of gravitate towards, be Packleads, be space station, be all those things. This has none of that. Aspar is as low key as you can get. So there's anyway. So this is very much feels like a Lower Decks episode. But they're obviously committed to that bit in having what feels like another slowdown, another, go back down to 5 miles an hour, which they've not been going tremendously fast anyway. But they've used that time tremendously well to build everyone's character up in a way that you don't get to do most of the time, because there's just story takes precedence. There's so little story here that the story is the journey. Wizard of Oz isn't about meeting the wizard, it's about the things along the way. And so that I really enjoyed the second time round, really appreciating how much they've all grown, appreciating Mariner be far more balanced, and that's quite satisfying. Boimler having continuity from last week, being bold Boimler, or the week before, that was notable. Rutherford didn't really change at all, but it's good to see him.
First time we've seen him angry, though. First time we've seen Rutherford kind of angry at the end, where he's like,
"You idiots!
I'm not angry. I just came back from a spa."
Yeah.
Wow. He's always like really chill.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to see the engineering team as a group. It not only just gives you a sense of, because you do see them, but you always get a sense that they're random extras that have been animated. But no, they've clearly, and we've said this before, they've clearly like designed like the 7 officers, and they use those 7 in those scenes. And now it's really, really fun to see them out of context. So this is the canon Swedish engineering team, and they've almost all got names. You get a sense of most of the, that's super unique as well. Another little note, and to see the captain with them is fun, because there's only so much you can tell off your best officers, and also tell them off on a spa day. So it's kind of like she's captaining, but also friending, but also the whole story is trite in a sense. Like, what are you doing? Therefore, she can't get too annoyed. So it's kind of fun to see her like off the hook, but on the hook. Yeah, I kind of wish they'd taken the jokes of the, take her to relaxation factor 6. Factor 6? No, 7.2, and having more steps of, now there's cuddling the puppies is great, but like there could have been a bit more jokes with that, but that's fine. But overall I quite liked it, although it's certainly not going to win any awards, but for what it is, I liked it quite a lot.
And Dan Ben asks, why was the only computer terminal they could use that one? Because they say that in the episode, it's the only air-gapped terminal, which means it's not connected to any other system. There's no other way to access it. They have to get down to that terminal to do it. So an air-gapped computer is just not connected to any other servers or anything. It's on its own, so it's protected from any viruses or attacks or anything like that. That's why.
It's just a specific backdoorable terminal, which I don't know if you caught, and again said online, it's a relatively close replica of the one-time TNG Corridor Season 1 panels that were put, like, we noticed, like, why is this a room in a corridor? It's the same structure of consoles. Mm-hmm. I liked the generalness. I mean, all the jokes could have gone further on. They could have had more of the mask converting the ship. They could have had more, whatever. And I somewhat buy the beta shift and delta shift. I mean, when you have so little to do that's meaningful as a lower decker, because you are sort of beyond the grunts. Having a rivalry is useful because it gives you something to think about. But they're so mean, as you said, how they in Starfleet. Like, our guys are... So you're kind of thinking, well, they aren't good officers. Now, if it was made for more jokes, whereas, they would then oh, screw you, they fall down a rung ladder, say, oh, no, sorry, take my hand. Like, if they showed both sides, like, the rivalry is part of the joke, but they clearly hate them and they'd want them to suffer. And it's like, well, that's not really... They shouldn't be on a ship like this and have those values, really. Although I do like the excuse that they're, they shouldn't be awake. Because the fact they're on the same shift means that they are still awake from their shifts. They've been awake for like 16, 18 hours, which is a good caveat. I wish they put all these things they could have pushed a bit more on.
Mariner did make that. Are you cranky because you missed your bedtime?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it was touched on.
But it must feel a bit weird though that they're your beds and they're their beds.
Yeah. Like,
you don't really own this space. What's your base range?
The worst thing for me was the Deck 1 reference to the quarters, which we're talking about in the chat right now. Stanley says, thought the bridge was its own deck. Deck 1 is senior officer's quarters, captain, first officer, etc. Not true. Even on TOS, Deck B and C, because they're not even numbered. They're lettered, but anyway. And the Galaxy class would be more because there's more decks than there's letters of the alphabet. But on the Enterprise D, the senior officers' quarters are on deck, I think, 8. Picard's is right at the front of the saucer and things like that. So, yeah, the decks right underneath the bridge would not be senior officers' quarters. Yeah. Well, that was a real problem with the Deck 1 thing for me.
But see, I liked that, and I only noticed it near the end, that whatever you say these are, they're still a bottom rank of officers. they're so caught up in the idea of the room, they don't realize that deck 1 is the bridge. There are no chords on deck 1. They just aren't. So they're that stupid in this situation, they don't even get it. But I mean, it's mishearing, isn't it? Somebody told them this information with confidence. They trusted them because it's one of their trusted friends, etc. But it's like, guys, there's one room up there, and then like maybe a side core around it. So if you're smart enough as a Trek fan, you'll know early on that's a twist. But you're so caught up in the, well, obviously penthouse, it sounds cool, but you know they're not. You know, they don't go to the bridge much. They don't. You know, they're literally at that room they're in, literally the arse of the ship. That's how they see the. So they are literally the worst, most low end places. We always forget that, but they are. They don't know what's happening any given day. They don't explore the ship. They don't know. So it works. Although Mariner obviously is tricky because she's older by a good few years, was lieutenant for a while, wasn't DS9. She should be much smarter than this, so she should have got that straight away. But also, stupidity of crowd, just with these dumb people. I don't know, but that's a joke within a joke.
But they're not missing. They're not in the worst part of the ship. They could be in the swamp. Just saying.
Yeah, which I mostly bought. Like the way they framed it, it's like, okay, you gotta have, you need to have roots for trees. I guess that makes sense. I guess.
Yeah. Sean O'Sullivan throws in €2. And says, missing the D story from last week. That towel. Hey, we got a towel in this one. We got Fedorov's towel, which was replicated to be too small. Got called out for it. So there is a towel. If you want a towel, well, there you go.
And that's also another funny meta joke, is that everything's in tension. So, how often do we wear slightly smaller shirts than we need to because we want to look a little better in them? So he's like, I mean, I could could wear a gown, or show off my bod. Yeah, he's proud. He's proud of his, and it's funny how the amount of these extras we're starting to really recognize.
Yeah, I know.
I recognize him from his scenes when he's also been in a towel. That's his thing. But it's like, yeah, I know that guy. I recognize him. Dear me.
Quick reminder, guys, go vote in the poll. I started a poll before we got the request to Dan Ben. He thought it was a good idea. I did too, so I threw it in there.
What's the poll, Stuart?
Are you a fan of the TNG episode Masks? Yes, no, or it's better than people remember.
6% say yes, 99% say no. Somehow you broke the poll results.
Well, I got yes, 46%, no, 37%.
Ooh.
It's better than people remember. It's 17%.
No.
So. Okay. I do like the Masks reference in this episode, and it's not Misaka this time. It's Minuki, so it's a different mask. So I love that.
I mean, it does make sense there'd be more. If you're trying to preserve a species, you'd send out more than one device, so it does make sense. And if you can imagine this culture, it's implied it's only the same culture. If they have multiple gods, they each send out a unique totem thingy. So they could on with a bit more of that. I think that
it is the same culture, the Darcy archives.
Yeah, certainly burning through that in 45 seconds. At least post titles, it's talked about. And I so like the idea of phasering off because you never look at that stuff. It could have done a bit more of that going in, but that's okay. Oh my gosh, realised, Stuart, we aren't doing the thing that I said we were going to do. It's not one alumni per episode because this episode has no alumni. It's now 3 for 4.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're on a roll.
There you go.
We start off with a very, very busy sleeping corridor. And they do bitch about it.
Towel. Yeah, the towel being too short, being too hectic, too crowded. So yeah.
Which all people complained about for 3 years. There's obviously a reason for it, and at least they know.
Yeah. Sean O'Sullivan, €2.
Thanks.
Enough of these Masks debaters. TNG is great. Mask is considered one of the worst TNG episodes for some reason, and I don't know why. I really enjoy the episode Masks. So it's an interesting poll because people seem to agree with me.
I saw it when I was young, and I haven't seen it in its entirety since. I love Brent's acting in it. I remember that. But it's one of those things where once we start doing reviews, I said, I'll wait and watch it together because that'll be worth doing together.
But then Minuki comes in, and then the ancient mask situation is like the third time it's happened. Stop touching masks.
That's a great shot of her in the mask.
Oh yes.
Hence thumbnail. This one's really hard to thumbnail this because it's like nothing's really an A plot, but also everything's sort of spoilers.
Yeah. And yes, Dan, we have seen the lady with the Geordie visor before a few times. So Shades of Grey has to be worse. Yes, and the child. Absolutely worse than Masks. We get more of Kayshawn, which is great.
Finally.
More of his sayings. What does he say here?
He's peppered in.
Zenrock's tilling his fields in the spring. The spring!
I guess that shows that, you know, when he's in stress, he can't quite translate himself. Because that's the whole point, is that he learned English, but he can't.
Then he's like, Journa, before the dawn, as they run away.
Dear me.
But yeah, nice pre-title sequence bit. And I thought the Masks thing would be more involved, but just to clean up afterwards.
But Stuart, his violin.
Yeah, he just tuned it too. And
that's the one he did the talent show with. So, continuity. But yes, and then you do get this great, everyone looking unhappy and tired, and that was very effective, actually, the way they're... Because, I mean, that's the thing, we always take for granted they re-deconstruct, but they can't just do it quickly, and so, yes, every time there's damage in a space battle or something, it's like, that's not a botanist doing it. It's not stellar photography, that's engineers, and if there's 3 of these events in a row, I mean, these guys are working all the time, and will the captain say, it's fine, take 6 weeks, just say, have it done in a week, and they're like, well, that's us. Oh, all night, all this week. It's a really nice side perspective. I thought it did a great job.
Yeah, and I gotta say, the Cerritos in this episode looks great. The shot of it in warp, proper warp. Thank you.
The only show, Stuart. The only show.
But it was a great shot of it at warp with the captain's log, and then later we see like a close up of this underside of the hull, which was really nice as well. So kudos to them for that. It's another great thing I liked in this episode. Yes, on Discovery there are bots that do all that work. Yes, I know.
But luckily they're not canon in the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I love seeing them repair stuff, phaser out rock, and then like the MSD display come back on. Really cool.
Yeah. And the way the Captain's all fresh and happy, and you know, how's the Doctor say you are? Basically, again, the swearing without swearing is the best way of doing it. You get the power of the swear, but not pissing off anybody. And the way he yells, we don't have to, we don't tell you how to hyper your spray. It's it's funny lines. It's not like laugh out loud funny, but it's like, yeah, you go guys, this is fun.
Ad break time. That was a great ad.
Yes.
I love Dr. Tiana's medical opinion.
Professional opinion. Yeah.
A beeping pile of stress. Oh, good God.
Yeah.
And then, he takes out a little bit of his aggression on Shax, smacks him twice.
I love how Shax takes it. The way it's great animated acting. He's like, oh.
And then she's like, who's ready for the most relaxing mandatory vacation of their lives?
Yes.
Everybody's like, yeah.
You're ordered to have fun starting now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Matthew DeFreitas got an Adobe Premiere. That's hilarious.
Huh, nice. Sponsored by Adobe Premiere.
Nice.
Yeah, I like this little scene. And it's nice that they all feel like they're growing together. Like, they wouldn't interact this way in Season 1. Yeah, I like the dynamics.
But Rutherford has to go, obviously, so he's taking two tricorder manuals in case he gets bored.
Yeah, if he's bored of having fun, he can read. And if he's bored of reading, he can have fun. Yeah. Makes sense?
And they talk about the room assignment lottery. And it's deck 1, those are the penthouse suites. I could fit so many beakers in there. What? Maybe on Space Dock. Deck 1 on Space Dock might be penthouse suites with a great view of Earth. I don't know. They're not on this ship. can tell you that.
But that's okay. They're just a bit dumb.
Oh, the chat says it says loading, loading, loading. What is happening?
We're at red, but still 8,000 kilobytes, which is a lot still.
Huh.
Not downloading, not doing anything. Come on, internet, so you can do it. Let me lower that into a lower bandwidth. Okay, I lowered it to substantially lower. It's back to green now. We'll let that.
Okay, we're back.
We'll let that buffer up.
Yeah.
Weird. Oh, Jeremy says, in my experience, vacations are rarely relaxing.
Yeah. Especially when you have to plan and schedule and get all the things that you want to do. And it's like, oh, on vacation, I'll be able to sleep in. Last thing you want to do when you go to Jamaica or something is sleep in. Like, you want to get out in the sun, you want to get to the pool, you want to have the drinks, you want to go to the beach. So you never get a chance to sleep in. Yeah, I agree. It's always better to come home from a vacation. It's like, oh, we're home now.
Yeah, at your house, you can choose not to do anything for a day around a few things. But if you've only got T minus, 72 hours on a vacation where... now you run down the clock, yeah. Especially if you're spending a lot of money to go somewhere, you want to do the things at the place.
Yep.
Now, obviously, if you go...
convention, you don't want to sleep in all day on a Friday because you're hungover and jet lagged.
It's like imagine going to Disneyland and sleeping for 8 hours a day because the bed's so comfy, and then eating
It's expensive sleeping in. That's what it is.
And then eating in the hotel because it's close, just to relax. And like, oh, how would you spend time at Disneyland? About 3 hours. So why sometimes it's nice just to go to a who cares town locally that's just a bit out, so you're not really stressed about doing stuff, but also away. Because away is sometimes good, a reset the brain. But there's a reason why our houses are the most comfortable with the most stuff. I mean, the fact is you've got more hobbies, more fun to be had in your own house than anywhere else in the world. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Paul Rutherford.
Let's see.
You don't look no good.
Andy Urick throws in $10. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
What do the captain and commander do when we're watching the ads? Nothing. It's instant. We just... Oh, that was a great ad. It's like... And it's time for an ad break.
Well, let's find out.
Great ad.
Let's see what happens when we do this ad. It's another ad. Ready? 3, 2.
Wow, it's fantastic. It literally took us a second.
I did not move. That's what I did in the ad.
Oh, you should have told me that. Good.
That's why I did it. Yeah, but then you get the lower deck villains, who I had forgotten about, I'll be honest. And I did forget they're meant to be alternate versions of our crew in the sense they've got all different skin tones and vibes.
Yeah.
I think we joked back in season 2, it would be nice if they were the same voice actors, just doing accents. Because they don't sound or feel anything like the other team, which is probably a good thing. But it would be kind of funny if they were literally the same voice actors doing with different accents.
Yeah. The one lady with the turbo lift logs, her voice sounded really weird when she started delivering that line.
Woo woo!
Almost computer-like, yeah.
Rather than lower decks.
Now, what about Goopy? A lot of people are thinking Goopy might be a young version of Murph. It's a different color, but certain species change color as they grow up. I don't know. I don't think it's a Murph creature.
No, I do not think either.
Yeah.
Unless Boy might got the scoop to include them early. I do not think so.
Yeah, you're right. The deltas are just like our heroes. Even later, the one lady that's like Mariner has the flap open on her uniform instead of the sleeves rolled up. It's more of a casual kind of with the uniform. Huh. Interesting.
But also, why the hell are there vents above the... There aren't vents above things.
I wondered that too. It's like, what the hell?
That's not a thing. I mean, you have to have the scene to make sense, but there are totally not actual vents like that. Has there ever been that? There are Jeffries tubes that... Don't have vents.
And Dan says, if you don't see an advertisement, you can see what they're doing. Yes. if you have YouTube Premium,
that's true.
Or you just don't get an ad for some reason, yeah, you're just, it's hilarious. Anyway, Tendy's all mad, complains to everybody that they were laughing, and they had this plan to put only themselves in the lottery, so that they would get the rooms picked. And Mariner's like, the Deltas, they should just join the Maquis. Well, how are they even in Starfleet?
Now, does that mean there are still Maquis around?
Or just they should just die? Maybe that's what she was saying.
I mean, like, go back.
At this point, there would be no Maquis. They were destroyed, man. Yeah. They got wiped out.
So it's that, or like I said, she's saying they should find a way to get back in time and then join. Yeah.
But anyway, they're going to cheat and go into an ethical gray area, and that excites Tendy because she's all by the book.
And it's interesting the stakes. I can not be surprised that you're not as engaged, because the high stakes in this are, we have to sneak into a room on our own ship that we might get in trouble for, maybe to put our names in a lottery, so we might get picked but not guaranteed. It's like, that's the stakes, so we might get caught. Pretty low stakes, but they take it so seriously, because to them, day-to-day life is important. But they're full in. I don't think season 1 Tendy would have done this. Would season 1 Bourne have done this? Maybe not. They're all growing, Stuart, into...
Probably not.
No. Mariner has corrupted them so hard.
But bold Boimler would.
That's true.
Taking a risk.
Yes.
It's risk. It's part of the business.
Yes. But yeah, this is our team. Then we get the ship. And more Andorians. Doubling down the Kamari being still canon, still doing its thing.
Yeah.
A great
we do see an Andorian in the puppy room, so there you go.
A great beam in. You really get to see that this is the team. And not as referential this location as I was expecting. I mean, it's a nice design. It works great. And yes, an animated series alien returns, and she's great.
The Adosians, like Lieutenant Eric's, yes. Fantastic.
Yeah, and it's the same. It's interesting how the last time we had one in Lower Decks, it was the guy that ran the equivalent of this, but take them to the secret spa because there were dodgy science experiments. So it's interesting how I guess we're pigeonholing them as more medically thematics.
Zango76 says vents for knockout gas. Yes. What do they call that? Shit. What is the knockout gas they use in Star Trek? I can't think of it offhand. Nestazine.
Anestazine, yeah.
With Nestazine.
Anestazine. Yes. Yes.
Anyway, so this Indosian's name is Taz, which is good to know, I guess.
Taz Lamora?
No.
Oh. So can you imagine if one of the diviner species just hang out in the background?
Yeah.
That'd be great. It's like, oh, that's like past him.
Yeah.
He took a quick break from the Delta Quadrant to hang out in a spa ship, then he went back to take on the kids. I don't know.
But they get their lemonade and their wristbands. And I love how the wristbands show their stress levels.
Space Fitbits.
They're all at a comfortable yellow. There's only one more to green.
Yes. But yes, we get the tour. We get the... I love how scared the Andorian is. My God. She is...
Of the puppies.
I mean, my God. It always looks horrifying.
Yeah, the puppy room. And I love how the Nas says, for the more deviant among you, we also have kittens. No judgment. Is
that worse? Is there a special context to that? Like I guess
it's just the dog people versus the cat people.
Okay.
Some people like cats, some people like dogs, some people like both. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
Fat produce though, $2.
Thank you.
Masaka is waking. Creepy smile.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Masaka is waking.
Good job.
And then we get the pig guy. I forget.
Yes, now he's from other
first
things.
Episode of Lower Decks. It's there with the farmers on the planet.
Oh yeah, that's Hagar. Yay!
And he's in mud, like a pig wallowing in mud. It's fun.
Oh yeah. But does this make it canon that the TNG mud baths that Troy gets naked on are from Telok Prime?
I guess.
I guess. Yeah.
Good reference.
Yeah. No, it's great. I knew the pig guy. That's great.
Yep.
Because were they trying to join the Federation? They were, weren't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, because they were getting no, the phone number was different aliens.
That means it was second contact.
Yeah.
Second contact.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. They finally managed to be powerful enough to get a place on the Dove.
Yeah, there's Orion in there, a Benzite,
and a devil.
Another guy I think referencing something, but I cannot for the life of me remember.
I think a lower decks creature.
Yeah.
Is what it vibes to me. And a Klingon, Stuart, and once again we've redouble mega canonized classic Klingons. He is flawless. Yeah. So
throw it Mekla tossing.
Yeah.
But he's done over his time, but they're afraid to take him out.
He's too relaxed.
Throws through the glass.
And we know when Klingons get relaxed, they get real Yep. That was good.
I noticed that none of the engineering team are with them on the tour because they've all decided to fix the door.
I mean, if it's broken, they might as well fix it.
Yeah.
Idiots. Good idiots. I like it.
But back on the Cerritos, the team is deciding what to do. The other team, the Deltas, are going to be going there through the auxiliary corridors.
Okay.
But we get there faster if we go through the maintenance systems, which are pretty much the exact same. Almost the exact same as far as distance.
Well, yeah.
We actually have to go through the engine.
Like through the nacelles, yeah.
Yeah.
And like through the underside, like there's now a Jeffries tube underneath the warp coils, or at least to the side of the warp coils. Weird.
Well, the warp coils are further. The warp coils are further back.
Sure. I guess just the hardware. But yeah, and you can see they do go right up to the deflector, which is right near the end point.
Mm-hmm. And both of them come together too. Both paths come together in that one room. That's nice. Nice little touch.
Oh yeah. Oh, because you can see both parts actually lit exist.
Yep.
But boy, this is another thing of because people did say, those are not fully educated, well, how do you get to the secondary hull? Turbo lift. And Jeffries tubes.
Mm-hmm. Or you could just beam there, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fine. And having now worked with the Cerritos in 3D, she's freaking huge. Those pylons are big enough for a Jeffries tube. It's a big old ship, Stu. It's not tiny.
But they have to start their journey
with invasion of privacy.
Yes.
Somewhat unethical.
Like, no, we should wait. No time. Just really annoyed me.
Oh, that's so annoying, yeah. I mean, that's obviously 9 times out of 10 how they're portrayed, so I get it, but that's just, a mistake. Damn. Nice catch. But I was happy this was not just Dixon Hill, but inclined much cleverer.
Yes.
Great idea. And it shows a lot about their relationship, them being, whenever you see characters in their own space alone, that dynamic is how they truly are. So this was really fun. And yes, aggression, violence, pew-pews. Boy, though.
Coming off the safety protocols.
Yeah, I mean, the police are shooting them a lot. If Tiana gets shot in the head, she's dead. Although I guess Strax came back from the dead, and he blew up.
Yes.
So I guess the logic could be that
but they never talked about it, so she doesn't know that.
No, she doesn't know how.
Yeah.
But I guess that's implied in that if we die, it's fine with main characters. Because I kind of wish they'd done a bit more strategy. Like, they have to be cleverer when safeties are off, rather than just be the same but more. Because clearly they should have been murdered by the bullets. Like, they're being shot by a lot, so they. I
wish you would have said. Disengage safety protocols, and then he gets shot in the shoulder or something.
I felt alive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to see repercussions.
But that could be why he decided to talk to her as well.
No, but it's not though. I wish it was too. Like, that's too far, Doctor.
Because it's like, oh, I got shot. I died once. And that could have led into that conversation.
Yeah.
But.
Or like he gets shot all through one side of his body, and it's like, oh, this is a flesh wound, a painful one. You know, they yeah, could more of that. But I do love the fact that Boyne was just about to get killed, like flat out murdered. Well, killed, but like dead. We don't often get actual, genuine, almost deaths, and it kind of hits you the second time. Like, yeah, he was literally gonna die.
Yeah. I love how the bullet's still hot too when he pushes it out of the way.
Which is actually interesting because that means freeze program doesn't freeze the, or it does freeze, doesn't redundantize the properties. So it's still hot. It's passive.
Yeah, it opens up another. And in fact, you can just change the bullets. Like you could be in a firefight, pause the program, and redirect all the bullets to the enemies, and then reinitiate the program.
But just the idea that, you know, going, I don't know how many other things you could talk, you know, just things that are in motion that would be one state. They just pause in that state, but they're still hot.
It could be because they disengage the safety protocols. They actually have to. That's why it's still hot. That's why you can move it, because it's actually a physical object. Right?
I like that.
It's a replicated object within the holodeck.
That's beautiful, because like if you put his hand over it, it'd burn his hand. So that would not be able to be done. I love that. Yep. That's great. Nice touch. Literally. But this is a great scene. I think this is really well told for what it is. And we get a lot of extra context. And I love the transitional grey to colour. That's great. Like, you can just sense the force fields limiting them. Yeah. I thought it was just,
Zango 76. Zango 76 says, "How did Boimler not know how to pronounce bank? Memory bank." Well, if you look at the subtitles, he says boink or bonk, which you could. Yeah, he's never, and it is spelled with an O in the subtitles. So he just hasn't been brushed up on his history. He knows about banks in general, what they did, but hasn't used it since public school or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's never grown up with money, and you put latinum in your. I mean, you put latinum in your room, and you only have it when you need it for something. So if it's like if like penny farthings, right? You know what penny farthing is? Right? Well, okay, yes, the bank is obviously computer bank, yes, but I mean, how often do you call it a computer bank? That's not a normal word in the Trek universe. If you were given the word penny farthing and you never said it out loud, you wouldn't be saying it right. Like, remember that thing you read in school, penny farthing? You might call it, So it's a classic trope of, well, they aren't banks, and he's now to say bank, Yeah.
I don't
know.
Anyway, they talk about their relationship a little bit,
and it does grow. She does give in a gentle way, and it's really actually surprisingly rewarding.
And she tries seducing him. I'm gonna suckle on one of Mama's. Oh, put those away, Diane. Diane is her weird kinky sex name. And I forget what his is. He's got one too.
Dear me.
Anyway, she's like entices him with tales of how she lost her tail. Oh, I didn't even mean to say tales of. Wow, that's funny.
I didn't even quite realize she lost her tail. So that's a nice, like, oh yeah.
Well, it's a lot shorter than, and that's been complained about actually, because in the animated series, MRS's is so long. Yeah. So there you go. It's a stub tail. I had a cat that had a stubby tail because it got its tail caught in was sitting on an engine or something when somebody started their car. Kind of sliced their tail. We had to take it to the vet to get it amputated short. Ouch. And it was just kind of funny.
I bet you that's a response to the fans noting. But Mike thought, oh, no one's ever going to mention. No. They mentioned it! They care. That's okay.
And I love how as they're going down the garbage can, you see a little bit of color in their uniforms return.
Yeah, like I say, you can always feel the visceral where the force field is, the transition force field point. It's great.
And the last thing she says about it was, "I was on the Algonquin." So she was on a ship called the Algonquin.
What a name!
Happened. That's all we hear.
Yes, it's good stuff. It's a good scene.
Ooh, yeah, and then we get a beautiful shot of the underside of the ship, with a nice glow off the one window.
Although, why the hell are the windows? Why are the windows protruding?
Yeah, I don't know. Are those windows or escape? I think they're windows.
Because they look like windows, but they wouldn't protrude, and they're not escape pods because they have no detail, and they're also shiny.
I didn't notice that when it was like the zoom in shot. I just noticed that in the freeze frame.
Because it's like they've obviously this is really more detail than they're meant to get for the model. This is way beyond. Like you can see they've just like made a bump. You know what a bump map is, Stuart? When they yeah. I mean you can see it on the pylon. Like what the fuck is that? It's multicolored plates that some are out protruding. The fuck's that? There's no detail here. Let's up this to 50% rather than 10%. Like it looks bad to me. In terms of a ship perspective, like in terms of finally seeing it new, that's cool, but it shows the absolutely basic bitch model because it's an animated series. It's absolutely fine. But yeah, it's brave of them to do a close up, especially as they close up on a pylon. Like this is the pylon. Like they're crawling down a pylon, which now I realise it's although the swamp isn't a pylon, so it must be. No, it doesn't make sense, does it? Oh, bloody swamps the pylon. I don't know. Anyway.
Matt says it looks like a render error.
Yeah, it does. I don't want to say that, but it does, yeah. What do you think they are, Matt?
Anyway,
do you think there's a escape pod to windows?
I say windows.
Yeah, too reflective.
But this shortcut is actually more of a long cut, taking longer than expected. And Tandy's excited. She's like, we're seeing parts of the ship no one ever sees.
And it's all the same.
Always optimistic.
Sort of Jeffrey's tubes.
Oh, there's the Doppler. Yes. All right, I see the Doppler skeleton now. I did not notice that the first time. How did I not notice that?
Well, it's such a quick shot. It really is a freeze frame sort of thing. But I do quite like this, and I feel this is probably a reference to the Discovery having literally a forest inside. Because it's pretty. I mean, this is what 3 decks tall. That's really freaking tall. It's a chasm. If there wasn't stuff, it'd be like a bigger than a cargo bay. So it's definitely
it's a turbolift shaft.
Well, yeah, it's definitely too much. It feels like it's making fun of it. But I can also, like I say, I like the idea that trees need roots, and the way they frame it, these are literally the roots of the trees. They don't just stop. If you want healthy, because the part of an arboretum is to study and watch after the trees. So you shouldn't be faking the root depth. You shouldn't be faking how it's nutritioned. You should be doing it as accurate as possible.
Yeah.
And if the trees need X number of... I like that. It's a very simple, we never thought about idea. And K-Shot's so cute! Even though it's about slicing his mum's throat or something. It's a really graphic thing he says.
Well, his mistress's throat.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're under the hydroponics bay, and it's great for biomedical research.
Yeah, great.
So, what weirdos sign up for Starfleet to play with flowers? And then... So he says, the path to Kambata in spring. Whoops. Oh, Gramble. His throat slit by his mistress.
Yep. Dear me.
SVS Guru. Router 215. I almost missed your super chat. Sorry. €5.
Thanks so much.
I think Goopy is one of the Tendy's genetic experiments, like the dog from season 1, episode 7.
100%.
Hit like, people.
Yeah,
possibly.
No, 100%. That's definitely what's implied.
Maybe Goopy does become Murph. Maybe there's a tie-in there. Because we don't know when Prodigy's set yet. So
full name is actually Glupius Maximus Murphinius. You just haven't quite pulled together yet.
Yep. SVS Guru 2000 throws in €5.
Thank you.
Prodigy had the same graphical issue. They made a model without planning for super close-ups, and then the director wanted one.
That happens every single show. That's why you do that's why you build separate models. But that's the problem with doing this sort of format. How do you up detail an area with no detail? Because it's very much like Enterprise D. There is escape pod hatches and if they added stuff like transporter emitters or whatever, which are obviously missing, but it's animated, it's like, well, then you say, why aren't they on the show why aren't they on the ship the entire time? So I thought it's acceptable for everyone except us, but it's the lowest detailed cartoon, right? They can get away with it in a way that Prodigy shouldn't, because they should know better, and they do know better most of the time. Anyway, yes.
Well, we learned a few things in the next bit of dialogue. that a Temerian-Defrin root can grow without water. All they need is high levels of nitrous oxide. That's very important. That'll be on memory alpha now. And Boiler's like, is it safe that we're breathing that? I don't know, but Orions are immune. So there you go. There's another thing that'll be on memory alpha. But yeah, the humans get some hallucinogenic effects. To say the least.
And it's not super obnoxious, which is good. It's yeah, I think they play it quite well considering it's relatively short. I've heard people say, this is what Mariner in anime would look like.
Yeah.
I kind of wish there'd been one thing about Mariner's past, like she'd seen, Cisco, like, a sense of, but it's going to be a fun hallucination, so those things are just kind of random. Although I imagine the egg reference is kind of like, being born again, it's warm and safe to be, I took that as sort of literal. But Tendi, what a lad to, keep him going, etc. And we can do this.
She spanks Mariner with a stick, which I was like, I'm getting into this. All right, cool.
Now he likes the episode.
I love how Boimler's like, hey, this is funny, guys. Look, this actually says the oxygen level's being depleting.
Funny.
And Starfish Kendi. Yeah. I can't get out of the maze. What maze? Anyway, yeah. Seems unsafe. But you're not supposed to be down there, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, all these places.
That's how the Doppler died.
Yeah, it's like you shouldn't be in the what's it called, the you shouldn't be in the warp coil when it's on, but if someone happens to fall into it because of problems, yes, it wasn't good, so I'm absolutely fine with that.
I'm sure you could probably get in warp coils when they're not charged with plasma.
But yeah.
If they fire up the system,
yeah.
Like liquid hot plasma.
Yeah. But then you get the Zen Garden, and everyone's much better now. They've all been totally relaxed. They're having a great time. They're not at all drawing anything important on the floor. Oh, wait a minute. They're sciencing again, Stuart. Damn those engineers.
All to increase engine efficiency by 0.5%.
I think that's quite impressive, considering, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna throw under the bus for that. I think that's a good job with them, actually. Sorry.
I love how the two people getting massages are also working on little gadgets.
Yeah. But also, I entirely buy what she said. It's like, I mean, build time is fun. I kind of wish it wasn't just a little sprocket thing. It was actually a device. But I love the Enduring guy, like, I'm building something too. Like, yeah, off time can be creative. But at this point, I think it's more about she's going too far. It's kind of reversed that point. They are having a nice time working as a team. But her version of relaxing is different to theirs, so it kind of,
Yeah. Back on the Cerritos, we hear about all the retrofits that the ship has undergone.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that isn't even labeled as a result. So we're not sure what stuff is. They find a hatch and they're like, see, like this.
Which is just a shockingly important bit of dialogue, actually. It feels innocuous, but it's like it's a get out of jail free in so many ways, because I did ask on our other review why he should know where the deflector is, and he should, but the fact that, like I say, this thing is left over from other refits, it's an unknown hatch. I kind of buy it a little bit more now.
But yeah, they find the deflector room with lower gravity.
Mm-hmm.
And we get them apologizing to Boimler because this is a cool room. And I'm not Boimler, I'm anti-grav boy, protector of the lower decks.
He's bold Boimler, anti-grav Boimler, and fake hair. It's hair dye Boimler. It's a lie. It's a fake. Yes. But Stuart, I'm going to end this poll, start a new one. So you asked the question: are you a fan of the TNG episode Masks? The winner by a slim majority is 40. Oh, it just shifted as I said it. Joint yes and no at 42%, Stuart, with 16% people say it's better than people remember. So you've You've answered nothing.
Well, people saying it's better than most people remember, I think, is a nudge towards yes. So it's good to say it's a 50-50 split. A little bit more on the yes side, perhaps. Perhaps.
Okay. I would agree.
So it's not one of the most hated episodes then. It's kind of like a 50-50 thing. Good to know.
Okay, we're starting a new poll. Stuart, set us a super chat like goal and a like goal, or I'll do a new poll.
No. All right, likes, we're still not at 50. Want to hit 50, that's another 8 likes. We're 56 people watching right now, so it should be no problem. We got 5 new members as a result of Matt Boardman actually gifting some memberships. So thank you, Matt, for that. And welcome to all the new members. So let's hit 50, another 8 likes, and keep the super chats coming. We're we're like a quarter of a way to our minimum. So keep them coming. Because he's going to do a poll right now, and then we're going to be on the bridge. Hold on just 1 second. All right, I'm back. Deflector room, radiation hazard? Hopefully not. So new polls up. Of the last 2 episodes, which did you enjoy more? Episode 3, meeting your fantasies, or episode 4, relax? That's an order.
I do enjoy
mandatory vacation.
Yes, but this I thought was tremendous. Once we learned it was a deflector, I said, "Now, editor review. It's like this is another first for lower decks because they don't have to build practical sets and they don't have to build high-end CG sets. They can build very inexpensive sets that create a lot of oomph, and boom, now we go. Here's the first time we see this sort of thing, how it works, some sense of, creating a charge by rotation. That's new. I didn't know that was a thing. And also it's not innately dangerous. Although, as we know, people can die, so I'm sure the next episode might be dying of radiation poisoning and get healed. So it's possible. It's possible. But, yeah, we go to the bridge, and everyone's chill. Boy, Shrax goes everywhere. He, starts dealing with injuring people and then goes to relax and then back on this. How long have they been crawling through the deck? He went and got
he also
laid.
had sex with her behind Astro
yeah.
or whatever.
Well, my assumption is that's the holodeck, but you can hear it through the walls of Astrometrics. That's my assumption.
Oh, maybe, yes. Yeah.
So he's had sex, gone out to shower, and then went back up to work, and they're still crawling through the ship? Jesus Christ.
How do you know he showered? Maybe he just threw on a uniform.
He looks too neat for that. His hair's fully coiffed. He has to do it. Yeah. And I can't help but remember in this shot for some reason, like the fact they rendered his pips wrong, so much so that we noticed, so much so that they had to do a dialogue line saying, "Oh, it's a bit of pop corn, yes." Literally, we found an error that they did. They had to explain it in dialogue. That was the day, Stuart, when we noticed before them. That was a good day. But
a small cluster of asteroids is approaching. Should I shoot it? It's like Worf. Should I fire up the phasers? No, Worf. You get shot down so often.
Yeah.
Deflector's 4. Fire that up to take care of it.
And he's so nonchalant. And it's nice to see Ransom not be treated like an absolute idiot. Not to say he's that much of an idiot, but it's quite nice to have him be just professional. Yeah, good guy.
The only complaint I have is the word deflector indicates it deflects particles out of the way, usually far ahead of the ship. These kind of atomize them as they hit the shield or the deflector grid.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably do both. Probably does both. But yeah, small thing.
Well, I mean, deflecting versus they're flying right at you. I'm sure they were going at a certain velocity. Or, let's be honest, Strax probably said, "I can put on 3% and they'll deflect, or 50% they'll disintegrate." Ransom can't tell me not to do that. So I can see that being the case.
Yeah, 3% would be fine, but 50%, there's nobody in the room anyway. It's fine. I'll fire it at 50.
And I'm looking, you can see they were escape pods next to the ring of yellow. Just real shiny. Just real shiny. But no, I like that. It was a good little, workforce moment.
And the Stanley says, and you pointed this out too. Looks like the warp core Kirk died in Star Trek Into Darkness. Yes, that was mentioned in our edited review as well.
But it feels like it makes more sense, and that's important.
Yes. Yes. Anyway,
yeah.
Kendi and Mariner get out, but Boimler is spinning and dying, so they have to create a tether. So, best part of the episode, they create a tether.
Okay.
They save Boims.
How do they create a tether, Stuart? With their hands?
Oh, they take off their uniforms and tie them together, and tie them to their legs. And by the way, I showed your thumbnail on my live last night. The one you made for me.
What thumbnail?
Which I appreciated, by the way.
Welcome. But boy, his hair, Jesus Christ, his hair is strong enough to take an entire friction and rotation. That shit, that dye that he's putting in his head to make it purple, that's molecular stabilizing double bonded quantum strength from L'Oreal, because he's worth it.
Nice.
Thank you.
I actually used that line earlier today, L'Oreal, because you're worth it.
Yes.
Because my buddy Sky has long hair now, and he was standing in front of a fan. He's like doing this commercial.
Nice. I will say though, this is another brief congratulations to how fucking strong the future materials are for uniforms. That's real strong. Yeah. So it's subtle, but I totally buy that, and I like that, and the way they joke is fun at the end. Yeah, good job them. With no resources, good job them. They kind of MacGyvered their way out a little bit.
But then they make fun of him for calling himself Anti-Grav Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, shut up, Shaq, says the Stanleys. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, next we got green wristbands across the board. Everybody's getting a pedicure. But when it comes to manicure, Rutherford freaks out because they had a workaround for their bands. They used the cucumber, which is hilarious. You made a workaround for your stress band?
I mean, of course they would. She says that like it's not a reasonable thing to do. It's the problem. And I actually love the way I love the way they audibly act. It's like, no, we're trying to help you, Captain. You're getting stressed for us. We're actually okay. So here is this, and then that obviously puts her over the absolute ledge. But I like that idea that this is, you're the one that's got the problem here. Like we do it in our own way. Yes, she's trying to help, but at the end of the day, they're kind of okay the way they are. At least now they've kind of had a bit of. I like the vibe there. I thought it was a logical escalation, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like later where they go, and it relaxed us. And the wristbands come up, and you hear the beep beep beep.
Yeah.
And they're all green.
It's like they all make sure to show her because we're serious.
Yeah.
For realsies. Yeah.
Freeman goes from yellow to red to black, and then we get a freak out.
Oh no, Stuart! They missed a trick. Black alert.
Oh my god.
We got a black alert! Spin the ship.
Oh, that
what?
would have been good.
Like the same klaxon as well. Black alert. It comes from the bloody band. Then the band spins! That would have been a great fuck you to Discovery. Damn it!
Anyway.
Would you not have laughed out loud if that had happened, though?
Yes. Mike! I don't know if you're watching these, but man, we need to talk to you.
More jokes.
I love how Freeman, when she's being pulled away, she's like, "Oh, engineers, all of them are goddamn Geordie LaForges," which I didn't hear the first time. Heard it the second time, and I was like, "Ooh, like that."
Yeah, but I did wonder how she was going to go mental, like we saw in a previous trailer. So her crew not relaxing is a very Lodexian way.
And she might have to go back to Earth Medical.
Yes.
For full medical diagnostic. And everybody's like sad because that would take her away from the Cerritos.
And it is their fault. Like,
yeah.
Go relax.
So, yeah. Billups? Yeah, Billups. Is like, we need to actually relax and stop engineering. And Rutherford's like, "Sir, I think I know what we shouldn't do."
Yes.
Yeah.
Well said. Dear me.
And then we got the stupid vent that opens for 10 seconds once every hour. It'll be a straight shot to the terminal. So they have to wait.
Yes, I mean that felt like a Galaxy Quest reference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what? Okay.
Then we get Mariner and Boimler talking about come. I mean, like as a greeting to come into their quarters. Come. And Tendy's like, enter, friend.
Yes. She's very on point in this episode, Tendy. She's very much in character. It's good.
Yeah. Anyway, the Delta shifters stumble into, because this is the one convergent point, I guess, in both of their routes that they took.
And once she says, come on, friend, like it's very well timed for comedic effect.
Then we get the whole past your bedtime line, which I like.
It really is true.
But I do like the flap open on those uniforms. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. But they're not quite enough like our team. Only the main guy is. Has Boimler-esque features.
Yeah.
But they make friends, and we learn of a shared experience between, what's his name, Riker, and Caveman. See, I thought it was
Ransom.
I thought it was Drax originally, but it's Ransom. Don't know why I thought that, but I was visualizing. So when at the end he like has his payoff, I'm like, oh, it's that guy. Oops.
Yeah.
I got the wrong guy.
He replicated a weird doll out of churros and carried it around like it was his wife. Some say he still has it. They're like, oh, his quarters do smell like cinnamon. Wait a minute, they'd be all dried out. He refreshes it. And I thought that meant something completely different at this point in the episode.
A sex
How
thing?
does he refresh his wife's doll? Or his wife doll? We find out at the end, unfortunately. It's not as gross as I thought. So
yeah, it comes across a way.
It does.
I mean, clearly intentionally. So, can't be blaming us for our thought processes.
No, you should never do that. Anyway, they decide that you guys are all right. We should all stick together. We're all lower deckers. So through that thing together, we'll enter all 6 of our names in. And then whoever wins, at least we all come out with new friends. And yay,
And
luck for everyone.
Do you see it coming that they were going to betray them outright?
Nope.
Okay.
I thought for legit it was going to be. But then quick, the doors open. Nice try. And they bugger off.
Yeah. That's the problem with animated. The acting feels so sincere because it's the only way they can play it. They can't do subtle, happy, sad on 3 points of articulation. So it's a little bit abrupt. And they really just do want us. They do just do want us to hate them. There's no attempt at them being sympathetic. And considering Mariner literally, was a fighter last week or the first episode, sorry, like she's this powerful woman. She gets beaten by them very easily. I don't know what that says about anything, It's like, okay. Interesting.
Core Ross says they all have the same face shape and the people across from them. I like the double look of the 2 teams. Yeah, they're definitely like different versions of each other. Especially the redhead. Looks very much like Tandy.
Yeah.
Short hair and everything.
They couldn't go too far, but they went clever far, I guess. Yeah.
But oh my god, the puppy room with all the puppies and some bunnies is not working.
But they didn't bring the cats in though. I was looking, so they didn't go full spectrum. Because I was waiting for that joke. I was waiting for the damn it, even the kittens didn't work. But that's fine.
I love how it stresses out the spa lady to the point where she lights up. Really?
Even the doctors were pushed beyond the red line, Stuart. Even the doctors.
Yeah. Then Rutherford storms in and says, "Stop it!" And the poor puppy is like, "Oh no, not you, little guy. Keep on pupping."
And that's the Rutherford we know and love.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, they dismantled the turbo lift and made this machine. And I thought it was such a weird shape inside. I was like, why is it that shape? Yeah.
Because it looks like it's made for an alien.
Yeah.
But it was made by them on a turbo lift. I don't know. It confuses me, Stuart. It confuses me.
Yeah, but it turns out solving problems is their stress relief, and then they show all their bands. Ta-ding!
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit easy / quite easy.
Yes.
I mean, I know
same thing happens in TNG episodes though. Near the end, it's just a quick wrap up.
This is true. This is very true. I don't think it takes away from being too easy though. I think it just means it's the end of the time we've been allotted to tell the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 10 seconds in this pod will give you the same stress or therapeutic benefits as a month on the Dove.
And that thing, is not just doing one thing. It's all the different relaxation techniques. So that thing's real good. I mean, groundbreaking, some could say.
Yes.
Changing the entire landscape of medicine, others would say.
Yeah, every ship will be in, have one. Be good for the crew.
It'll change people's lives, honestly. Let's fuck it up.
Get it off my ship.
Damn it. Yes. I mean, you can see that a mile. You see that a mile away. Just.
Yeah.
Oh.
There'll be no need for you guys. Starfleet won't need to come to you anymore. Oh well.
But that also does speak hugely of the lady who was running the Holo training, that she'll be antiquated and not used anymore. But even if there's no money, you have a purpose, and if purpose gets removed, you can understand them being pissy. If you spent, decades, I don't know how old these things live, doing this, and now you're being, fixed by a machine, I would not be thrilled. So, I could see it.
Matt is stressed because he says he could use a machine like that right about now. But Snoopy McQueen is egging us on, and Matt as well, with $5 and says, keep it up. A little pair doing a stress-relieving workout.
Would you love the pairs? Yes. But I did like that she's breaking it. I thought that was a fun reference. Although it is just too easy. And also, it does speak to how smart the engineers are. Because, boy, changing the world. Although also might speak to this thing. These things are invented all the time. But the health industry, it's a conspiracy that things are invented, the health industry breaks them down.
Yep.
That's what Mike's telling us. He's telling us the secret of it all.
Yep. Big pharma.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
Yeah. I love how when they're all leaving, Knox is like, yeah, oh yeah, bye, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Got my ship.
But I don't know.
I feel like we should know her little companion there. He looks.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The reference to.
That alien's been low decks before. It's definitely one from TNG.
Squadron Course throws in $1. Thank you so much, Squadron Course. It's not that time yet, though.
Yes.
Almost.
Yes. And we're still
Better
1/4 of our minimum.
chat.
Yes, 1/4.
Exactly. Yes. So keep the super chats coming, guys.
Yes, we need to pay rent, guys. It's quite important. But what was our current poll results? I asked the question. That was $10, say. Of the last two episodes, which did you enjoy more? Last episode or this episode? And last episode's currently at 54%. But this one's not too far off at 46%. Interesting.
I would rather rewatch the last episode than this.
Me too. But I know if I'd put the first episode, that would have won with Cochrane. So
yeah. Sylvia's like, someone went poop outside. Hint, it wasn't me. That's good. The puppy is being good. Her training is going very well. She hasn't had any accidents in the house for a few days. So.
Good.
Yay. You sure it wasn't you, hun? Anyway, Jasper Jedi, $10. I think what has me the most meh about this season is that there hasn't been any development of previous plot points. Example, Tendi and Rutherford's relationship. Boimler Mariner, Rutherford's memory loss. The Tendi and Rutherford relationship was touched on a tad in the first episode where they were having dinner together at Cisco's. Like it seemed like they were maybe on a date, and they were going to see the sights of Earth together. So
yeah, I would go with that.
But yeah, his memory loss. It was made out to be a big thing at the end of season 1. Like this is going to be important in season 2.
Well, the season 2 reveal is that he had an experiment thing.
Yeah, I know, but
well, it's a multi-season reveals to it. It's like season 4 or 5, you know, because they all have like one big thing in their past. It's kind of the big secret. I mean, I to some extent agree, but we did get the Packwood stuff. That was a big plot line. We got Boimler being more assertive, being stronger as an officer. That's been developed quite a bit. Mariner being more balanced as an officer. That's developed quite a bit. You know, she's not been anyone who's reckless. That feels like distinct development. Tendi.
Bold Boimler.
0G Bold Boimler. Aussie. There you go. Bold Boimler. Hashtag bold. That's your new season 3. And Tendi going from being, you know, the quaint young officer to being much more confident and almost take charge of the 4. Like Mariner has completely almost lost that slot. Just wants to come enjoy the ride now, and then Tendi's now almost taking charge of it, almost. So I'd say that's kind of developments. But Rutherford certainly has been the least, but I can imagine he has the most. He has so much meat in that one thing that, you know what I mean? Like once you use it, you use it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, they're complaining about how they were duped. Yes. And all they left us was a puddle of Manuki water, which Boimler realizes is draining out of a hatch.
How is it draining? There's no gravity, like distinct gravity. There's no slope.
Well, there is a slope because they slide down it. Oh, there's no slope in that room. Yeah.
And also, these panels should be airtight, shouldn't they? That's the whole point of panels.
Well, it's the Cerritos, to be fair.
Also,
all it takes is one huge impact from something hitting it to shift something inside to make a little bit of a gap.
I mean, yes, I suppose. It just felt as Contrived's way go. I thought it was a dumb way of them finding something.
Would have been better if it was a grate at the bottom, like a vent or something that he noticed it was trickling down.
Yeah.
But yes, Tendi's reluctant to go down there because another Galaxy Quest moment. There could be incinerators down there.
Yeah.
Boimler's saying, no, there's no heat.
Yeah. Bold Boimler.
And then the whole anti-grav boy, he yells as he goes down. And then Mariner says to Tendi, we got to stop this whole bold Boimler thing. It's just not sustainable. He's going to kill himself.
And I actually quite like this new Jeffries Tubes design. Because this is another new one. This is another variation. This is the, inner pod area. I like it. It's good. Makes me kind of replicate it. I quite like it. It's
actually very reminiscent. Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Discovery ones. Size.
Yeah, I would say so. And having the lights right in their faces. Like, the point of Jeffries Tubes is they're up above so you can't see them, and they're by the hand line so you can see the handhold. Being here is bright and obtruse. But otherwise they're dull. But they're meant to be dark. Whatever.
Tom Zeros 48 throws in $5. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
I think that the awesomeness of their season finale and pre-finale is tempering our judgment. Tempering our judgment of their ordinary episodes, which are still very good. Well, could be, but I mean, you watch the first few episodes of season 1, and they just have more of a flavor than these ones do.
I think very good is an exaggeration. Good.
Yeah.
If you start saying very good, then their good ones are excellent and their best ones are phenomenal. There's got to be good. It's got to be an okay episode to have a good to value a great.
Yeah.
But maybe they tried new writers that aren't quite as funny. I mean, these definitely aren't as funny as they used to be. But neither is Orville, and people liked a less funny Orville. And we've still got so much stuff to come because they know they've got 2 full seasons, so they're able to take their time. And I'm sure each of these episodes is actually more important than you think. Having that gen connection, so that's developing. This with all individual little moments. Like they're being built up slow and steady because they can afford to take their time and just experience these small scale stories. I think it's intentional to kind of scale back to basics for a few. It's just the last 3 of last season were just like, Jesus Christ, they're good. You know, with the low decks like that. You know, and then the last one just mind-bogglingly good. You know, what is that one called? Wage Due. Like that's award. I almost won an award. You know, it's that good.
Yeah. The one thing I don't understand is opening that vent or that door. It was a straight shot to the terminal. Don't know how long they've been gone. They've been gone a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Then they find this thing, slide down. Then they have to go up a ladder, which leads straight to the terminal.
Yep.
Same room.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense. Where the hell are the deltas right now? Are they taking a break? Or they're probably sleeping. They're probably having a nap. Because they know they've got like an hour before it opens again when they'll come rushing through. Maybe they decided to take a nap. I don't know. But
yeah, it's it's a bit weird.
Yep.
I don't think
I love the way that the terminal fires up though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't think it works. It's way too easy. Kind of need one room in between. Because this is like so secret it's not on the schematics. Because if they're trying to find a route, there's only so much room in the hull. It's the most direct route possible. You know?
Yeah.
Or they needed a scene where they're walking out. Well, it would make sense. They go back through the grate, and you see the door open. The other guys walk in and say, "Wow, took a wrong left turn." They needed some sort of joke to kind of settle it out because they have too much gentle pace in this room. It entirely devalues the. Or they were rushing, guys.
Or have a shot of the deltas in a room full of rubber duckies, like a big ballroom. Like they're trapped in it. Like they went through it and got. They're wading through the rubber ducky room, which has been mentioned before, but I don't know where the rubber ducky is on the MSD of the Cerritos. I think it's probably in the saucer. But
yeah, it is. Yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah, so something like that would have been funny.
So it's definitely a misplaced scene inside the scenes, but I do like the scene in general for what it's saying. It's saying that we were wrong because of course you were. There's only one room on deck 1. It's not deck 1, it's deck 4, and there's one room. And so I love that Chinese Whispers swap. Great little mini twist.
Yeah.
But we've seen Lieutenant's quarters, and these are not going to be much bigger than that. They aren't big. I mean, they're used to obviously sharing 30 to a corridor. Fine, I get that, but these aren't. Yeah. So it makes sense. They wouldn't even occur to them to share one room together. I felt like Captain wouldn't allow that anyway.
I know, right?
I get the more vibe the other guys get away with it because no one likes them. Like, fuck, who cares? But they say no. If we take the room, one of us takes the room, we won't see each other very often, which is true because the day jobs.
Have any adventures like this? Yeah.
Yeah, the random things.
Yeah.
And the fact is, this only lasts so long, which is true also for the show. They can only be crap officers on a crap ship for so long, if time's passing relative. Tendy's going to get promoted pretty quickly at this rate. Boyman's going to get killed pretty quickly at this rate. Mariner's going to get thrown out of Starfleet for pissing off the guy she's currently...
For calling Random a piece of shit.
And I love Boyman's like, you're going to die. Yeah. I love it. It's well played from an animation acting point of view. It's very heartfelt. And I didn't think they were going to do the bunk room thing later on. So that was a nice double twist. I like that.
Stupid Delta shifters. They'd say that right at the end as they're walking away.
They'll have the punishment.
Let them ruin their friendships by this.
Screw them. And it hard cuts the entire Delta shift celebrating. Now, is it implied that they all get, or is it the 4? And in fact, this new black guy character, he's obviously the swap for the other guy. The other guy lost an eye. He's got a device. He's got an eye patch and a scar.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Didn't even notice him until this moment.
Yep.
So I guess it's those 4. Yeah.
Yeah, they're sharing a room together because they took out everybody else's name and only put in their 4 names in the lottery. So one of them won the room, and then that was the plan, to remove everybody from the list except for the 4 of them. So one of them would be picked, or all 4 would be picked for the 4 rooms, or they thought there was 4. So
And our guys are not thrilled by this.
They can't believe they're sharing one room. They're having a party. We need to get on the guest list.
Let's quickly go all the way down to the bottom of the ship again.
I like the whole, why didn't we think of that? We were tired.
It's a fair point. Especially in theory, had like a minute before they arrived, so...
Yeah. And Rutherford's all pissed. Why would... Of course I wanted the room. We could have shared it.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And yes, this is the maddest we've ever seen Rutherford, which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I just got back from a spa. Listen.
Well, it's because he hasn't got to fix anything for a day. Like, fix. He's pissed! Not a happy chappy.
And then, Ransom comes in and orders 35 churros in an unmarked paper bag. Wow.
And the computer respects his unmarked bag request. That's a new one.
And it's even greasy. It's got grease stains on the bottom of the bag.
Computer, extra dodge factor. Extra suspicious. Unmarked, but suspicious. And that's creepy as hell. That's a weird ending for Ransom. He plays it so wholesome, but it's only creepy. So I'm not really... And then we close out on the ship. Everyone's good. Everyone's happy. Everyone's relaxed. The captain, I guess, is fine. And the ship isn't out of business. The dove is still going to fly over and do its thing.
Did you see that Shea Walker modeled the ship like same day?
Yeah.
For the dove? It's like, holy shit, man.
I mean, you can really see the shapes, in fairness. It's very, like, they do a good job in showing the 3 angles. But yeah, that was
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So yeah, there you go. Episode 4. We've learned the meaning of friendship. At the end, that's the main
We have.
thing.
And you're all friends of ours because you're here with us now. So please hit that like button.
Oh, and actually, though, it's interesting because specifically, Boimler did pick promotion, leaving them in season 1. Now, season 3, Boimler is actually picking to not get a better room so he can stay with them. So, growth.
Friendship. You guys are our friends. Hit that like button. Let's get those likes up to 75. We honestly need quite a bit more super chats. So if you guys can throw in some 10s or 20s right now, would be awesome. Speaking of paying the bills, that's an ad right now. See, we're doing nothing during the ad breaks. You don't even realize it. So yeah, keep the super chats coming. This is your chance to let us know your score for this one out of 10.
And I want to know that. I'm genuinely very interested in what you guys have score-wise.
Yeah, the super chat scores I will read when both Sam and myself are done kind of reviewing the episode and giving our scores. And then if you can't super chat it, you can throw it in the regular chat, and Samuel will read those at the end as well. So
but $40 against a half our minimum, which isn't good, but it's certainly not terrible.
Yeah,
it just means we're at a deficit every time. But yesterday was good, so you know. Yes. But Stuart, do you feel anything different now we've fully reviewed it and thought about it deeply?
As far as the 4 main characters and their relationship, yeah, I mean, this episode's important for that one, for that aspect. However, that could have been the B story and a more important story. The spa thing should have been a B story in another more important story. The two combined bug me immensely. I don't want to say it's a 1B. It kind of is though. The spot, yeah, I don't know. It's just this, like I said earlier, this episode doesn't have a lot of flavor to it for me. The best things for me were all these goddamn engineers think they're Geordie LaForges. And then the Tendi and Mariner rescue of Boimler was also awesome. And the shots of the Cerritos. The Cerritos looked fantastic in this whole episode. Every shot of it, especially the shot in warp, was great. Other than that, there's just not much here for me. That being said, this episode's probably going to score lower than last week because, like I said, I'd rather watch last week's than this one again. Trying to think of anything else to talk about. Oh, the Indosian being included again was awesome. Keep that shit up. Talking about the retrofitting and all the unmarked panels and corridors and stuff. kind of neat because yeah, you keep changing the ship design every time you take it in for a refit. So that was neat as well. The deflector, seeing that for the first time, amazing. Okay, so score wise for this one, for this season, I'll give it a 5.7. For all lower decks to this point, I'll give it a 5.4. Yeah, it's probably my least favorite lower decks episode so far. Wow. Eesh.
And this has never happened, Stuart, but I've liked every episode so far more than you.
I know.
All 4 scores are higher than yours.
Well, I'm getting older. I'm becoming more of a curmudgeon, as you can tell.
And it's funny because you always judge me when I have a lower score than you, and I'm just like, yeah, you do you, boo.
It's funny. I never judge you, Samuel.
Oh, if you love an episode and I don't, you do, which is fair. Yeah, for me, it's sort of the low. I think it's probably the lowest deckiest, lowest keyest of episodes, but I do enjoy it for what it is. As I said before, there's also nice little moments. Everything's been pushed further, every single aspect, and there's plenty of jokes untold. But I also really enjoy just seeing the main 3, I suppose, in this case, leads, just having dialogue, going out their comfort zone, having some fun. Most of the things did hit, but more punch. Certainly, this season is far more low-key. And it's not even that they've necessarily had their best ideas. They just are more comfortable with the characters, so they can be more subtle, but they definitely need more of a more impactful A-plot with a bit more of a oomph. Probably. I think. Although I didn't think this was an A and a B rather than a B and a B like 2 episodes ago. It really felt like a B and a B. At least this kind of had like these are 3 mains doing a main thing for them. It's main thing. So I didn't get that sense. Score wise, and that's my summary. That's how little there is. No longer the summaries. Score wise, it's certainly average or below average for lower decks. But most episodes are better, just innately, and it certainly makes you wish for season 1's more ideas. A lot of times they were more hit or miss, but the hits are stronger, and the miss is kind of like you got what they were doing. I think score-wise, I'm happy to give it a gentle 6, so a little bit higher than you, for this season. All of Lower Decks, I think... I mean, that, as you said before, that's the hardest one because they've had no stinkers of any kind. So the all score is almost an irrelevancy because there's nothing a 2, 3, a 1, a 4 probably even in the entire 3 seasons. So like if we go at 5, that's like a cataclysmic number for lower decks, but it's an average of the whole. You know, they can't go lower really. But it's certainly average for them. They've done mostly better episodes than this for sure. But I will give it, just to maintain the spree, a 5.5. So I'm slightly higher than you're both, but not by much. Because it does almost nothing wrong, but it doesn't do much great. It does things good, but really nothing that great. It did need probably a legacy actor to kind of give some oomph to come in and maybe the Bonnie and Clyde scene. Maybe they could have had like Jadzia with them, Holo Jadzia, or another character kind of give some spice, or maybe wouldn't it be kind of fun if like another legacy character was in the spa with them? Mm-hmm. It could have been literally anybody from any show.
Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley, yeah. And then Rutherford's like, "Oh my God, Reginald Barkley!" No, here I am, relaxed Barkley. You know, you could have had really, really good jokes with that. Or even, let's be honest, you get the bubble back, the talking clown bubble from TNG in the mud bath.
Oh, good God!
Like have all of them in the mud bath, like an awkward, like they're all naked in the mud bath together, and the bubble comes up and they make jokes about it and. Like, you know what I mean? They could have been, or even Deanna. You know what I mean? Have Marina. She's like, well, my mother got me into these, and now I can't not. Or Alexander even. Like they you know, there was definitely something to mind there. But what do you guys think? I really, really want to know because we gave our scores.
But we got some super chats I want to address. We got Squadricourse with $1 going for that snipe. Thank you so much, Squadricourse. Andrew Urich says $5 and says churros are delicious. Let's not snack shame the guy. They are delicious, and we're not snack shaming him because he's not using them for snacks.
Yes,
he's using them to to refurbish his doll of his wife that he made when he was a caveman. So it's weird.
Yes,
So we're not snack shaming. We love churros here.
It's like a doll's hair is falling out, and he's replicating new hair to hand sew into her head.
Yeah.
We're creep, kink, doll, sex shaming.
Yes. I prefer this way of refreshing the doll to the first thing that I thought, though. It keeps it refreshed. Anyway, moving on. Mark Lawrence throws in $20.
Here's our great koala. Here's our great koala.
Yes.
Here's our great savior. Thank you. We're now over half our minimum.
Yes. Barely. Just getting over a bug. Oh no. Hope you feel better soon.
Yeah.
Been watching at 1.5 times speed to catch up. Long live Lower Decks.
God, I must sound so fast at that point. Jesus Christ. Oh, I wouldn't want to listen to myself at 1.5.
Yeah, Species 1571 says we are sex doll shaming him. Yes, absolutely. No super chat scores though. I'm disappointed. Give you guys another minute or two to super chat in with a score. That'd be awesome. Wouldn't mind reading at least one. Matt Boardman said her name was Cinnamon. No, it was a Churolivia. Churolivia is the joke going around, is what her name is.
Churolivia.
Which of course Olivia latched onto, and that's her new nickname now.
So you're saying rather than Picard fertilizers, it's Ransom fertilizers?
Oh, he's not using that method to refresh it.
We don't know. Both.
We've already talked about this.
Okay, so non-super scores. You guys say the Stanley 6 to 7 out of 10. George 6.7 out of 10. SVS Guru 7.5 out of 10. Mohammed with a very long intricate name 5 out of 10. Dan 7 out of 10. Aussie 7 out of 10 for the Hot Mariner, Maria and Dendy. And lots of red alarms as well. And 7 out of 10 for Species. Yeah. Because I do think that the guys, we don't, like, if we give it a 7, there's not much further to go. Contrast is important. And we know what the show can do. And if this was a 7, it'd be sad. Like, that's the 7est they can do. Whereas we've seen, I think we did give them a 10 for Wedge Douche. Or like a 9 point something like that. I think mine would have been a 10.
9.8 or something like that, yeah.
So we have given a 10 occasionally. I think we did give 1 for... I feel like... Anyway.
For Picard Season 2, Episode 5, I think got a 10, yeah.
Why would Episode 5 get a 10?
I don't know. I could be wrong. It could be Episode 6.
You mean Episode 1?
It was one of those middle ones that was so good.
When was Picard ever that good? What do you mean? What? What are you on about?
Sarcasm, my dude. Sarcasm.
It's too confusing, Stuart.
My level of sarcasm is too advanced for you people.
Yes.
I must move on now.
Yes.
Must go back to my planet. Squadron course.
Just be Poochie. Just. Let's go home now.
I'll die on the way back to my planet. He wants me to die. Squadron course, $1. Thank you so much. Matt Boardman with $5.
Thank you, Matt.
Says I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I like the chill factor and just getting to see the Lower Deckers spend some time together. Yeah, I mean, there were some good moments with them all, I guess.
But the thing about anything, a 7, like, being fine, being okay, does not get you 7s. You need to have really good bits to get higher marks, right? And then really, really, really cool bits to get even higher marks. So if 7 is everything's okay, then how bad does it have to be lower than that? Because they're never bad.
Just a static picture of the Cerritos the whole time.
Well, I mean, we all love the Borg cube static shot of the drones. I mean, that did get them points. So let's not discredit the Mike's team for doing clever ideas. But it's
that is true.
But yeah, I like this one more than you. I appreciate that because that doesn't often happen actually. But we're definitely 4 in, and these are 4 of the more forgettable ones out of the 24. And also bad ideas, they just haven't quite hit the mark in the way they could have. But live and learn. I know we had one in season 2 where they put Tendy and Boyman together, and they didn't quite match up as a pair. But you don't know until you try. Whereas Mariner and Boimler do work as a pair, or at least when Mariner is all overly strong, powerful lady. So it's
now she's with Jen. Babe.
Yeah. So it's interesting when they simmer down the extremes. That, sometimes we're looking for the extremes. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Canadian sarcasm is very polite. Yes, sir. Oh, it's much bigger than Miranda. Much bigger. So,
yes.
And I asked the question, though, of the 2 last episodes, which you enjoy more. 55% last episode, 45% this one. So, reasonably even split. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess it is last super chat slot. We'll have to get another $21, maybe? Sort of. So,
better than nothing.
Yeah. And then this weekend, we've got looking at a ship from episode 1 again, and the Deflector from this episode. And there you go.
Spoilers. Just ruined our weekend lineup. This guy.
We're not going to look at the Dove because it's relatively simplistic. And at least when we did the Billups' family's royal ship, there was kind of a slew of interiors to look at that were quite creative. While these were fine, it's a spa. Would be our summary of the interior. Yeah. Oh, can you imagine if they had like Garth of Izar's room, like that device as part of the lineup, as part of the treatments? Like, oh no, we fixed it. We fixed it. It works now. It's like
the Museum of Therapy. Walking through a hallway of all these old devices that are supposed to... And the game, the little game.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Or even if, and this is another, sort of links to episode 1 of the season a bit, but imagine if they'd had a transporter and say, this is our transporter. We can reset you to last time you were calm. But you lose weeks of your memory, though. Like you could imagine some weird shit they could go into. But once, oh my god, can you imagine a Khan's blood room? It's like there's just a guy in a wall. It's like, oh, who's that guy? Oh, he's volunteered. And it's like Benedict Cumberbatch lookalike. It's like, what?
And Dan Ben asks, is the Dove's a spaceship or a station? It is a ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wouldn't be that useful if it couldn't fly around and meet space forces. I can imagine after a big, battle, you might need to come in and whatever.
Are we going to talk about the Tronicized Daedalus class that was there? It's a weird... It looks like a Daedalus class, but like modernized.
Well, it vibes to me like the Delta Flyer that wasn't a Delta Flyer.
Yeah.
Let me load up the episode again. The Tronify. Yeah, I did see that. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, 65 likes. We're still 10 away from our 75 likes. So, and yeah, another $21 would be awesome to end out if possible.
Weird. Yeah.
Because right now, Matt Boardman has that last super chat slot. Squadricourse, I'm looking at you. Talking to you.
Dear me.
$1.
Yeah, but I think we're going to start escalating the stories in this show.
I think so.
I can sense the brewing storm of coolness. But definitely give us a Rutherford, Section 31 brain story. They were also Vulcan Romulans, weren't they? So all that jazz. Yes. And in fairness, maybe they went for some cheap episodes to lead up to some expensive episodes, but then they also created all these new sets. So these don't feel cheap, but even though the bottle shows, they're not, because they, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Weird that. Oh, good night, Stanleys. Have a good night. And you're doing, pimp your weekend plans because you've got sort of Trek-ish themed weekend plans.
Yeah, all weekend I'm at London Comic Con, London, Ontario. I have to say that every time. Because if I don't say London, Ontario, they're like, you're going to the UK. No, I will not. But anyway, yeah, London, Ontario. Have the TOS captain's chair all weekend. So come and say hi. And on Sunday at 11:45 a.m., I'm doing the panel on stage with Robert Picardo. Not a panel, but like a Q&A. Got a lot of good questions and things to talk about with him. My intro is going to be great. I'm going to introduce myself and who I am and Trekyards, the web series, and all that in the captain's chair. Go visit it. And I'm going to say, as a lifelong Star Trek fan, it is my honor to say these words. Computer, activate EMH. Please welcome Robert Picardo, everybody. Hopefully that will go over well.
Yes.
That's probably never been done in the whole history of him being in.
No one's thought of it.
No. I thought about calling him the EMG, emergency medical
guest.
Yes. Yeah.
Or EFG, the emergency funny guest.
Yeah, but I know if I change it in my head in the moment in front of a bunch of people, I'm going to fuck up the acronym, so I'm just going to leave EMH.
And if people don't get it, it'll be like, where's the humor?
Well, he's been in like 331 things on his IMDb, so.
Oh, yeah.
Squadra Course, $1, sniping in. And then Area 51. Area 51 started the first Super Chat snipe, which we've never really followed up on. But he's got the last Super Chat slot right now.
Oh, Jeff. So. Good job. Oh, yeah. Good. My rank has to mean something.
Oh, yeah. He was the one. I was telling you about that.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
He demoted himself, yeah. To make you feel better.
Yes.
I already told him about that, Jeff. You weren't here that live, though, so.
Now, I assume you're going to be posting pictures of you in the cams chair? Because it never gets old.
Yeah, I'll be posting pictures. I don't think I'm going to do a captain's log, but I do want to record the panel or the Q&A with Robert Picardo like I did with Denise Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I'll have a cameraman because my reliable guy is not there this weekend, unfortunately. Cool. So I'll make it work.
Are you going to try and do a live from the floor? Because those are always fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff. Can you imagine doing a live with Robert Picardo on stage? Welcome to Trekyards Live, Robert Picardo. We're going to ignore the audience. You don't mind doing a live show, do you? He's like, what?
I'm only answering questions for people that super chat. If you want to throw money at us, you can ask a question.
Everyone can join the chat right now in the audience. So people have to physically go on their phone.
Yep, everybody's on their phone.
Everyone's looking down to watch the stream. Wow, $800 super chat. Can I hug you? Robert? Okay! That'd be funny. Dear me.
That'd be funny, actually.
It would.
You all have to subscribe, too.
Yes.
Go to Trekyards before I will subscribe.
Yes.
Area 51's like, do I win? Yes, I think you do. Last super chat slot goes to Area 51.
Thanks so much, guys. We will see you next week for another episode. Things and bobs will happen. Until then, he is Captain Foley.
The great Captain Foley.
Some could say.
And he is Commander Calkins. The wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
The wonderful Commander Calkins. There you go.
See you then.
I wasn't going to say. Yeah, bye.
Bye, guys.